What if I told you that it's entirely possible to stop working in just 10 years? Not by relying on a stroke of luck, like winning the lottery, nor by being born into wealth, but by deliberately creating a system where your money starts doing the heavy lifting for you, more effectively than your own labor ever could. Most people don't realize it, but they already hold the engine capable of setting them free. The problem is, they quit before the engine ever fires. In this guide, I'm going to walk you step by step through a 10-year roadmap and show you the simple clock that makes your progress measurable and predictable. Before we dive deeper, take a moment and pause here. Leave a comment below with your age, or whether you've already started investing. Knowing where you currently stand is the first step, because your starting point determines the trajectory and speed of your journey. Later, I'll explain exactly when compounding transforms from something almost imperceptible into a force so powerful it becomes unstoppable. But first, let's confront a question that plagues almost everyone trying to break free from the 9-to-5 grind. Why do so many people remain chained to work decades longer than they truly need to? The answer isn't a lack of possibility, it's psychology. Those first years of building wealth feel grueling and discouraging. Every dollar you save initially relies entirely on you. Your effort, your discipline, your sacrifice. You work hard, you skip conveniences, you forego small luxuries, and yet the results appear minuscule. That imbalance between effort and visible outcome convinces many people that the system doesn't work, when in reality it's quietly gathering momentum, like a snowball slowly rolling downhill. A common assumption is that early retirement is only for the wealthy or extraordinarily lucky. If you grew up believing that only lottery winners or high-income professionals could quit working early, it's natural to dismiss the possibility entirely. Then, when you start saving and the numbers barely budge, it seems to confirm what you already believed. But here's the truth. The early stage always feels slow because you are still the engine. There's no momentum yet. Every step forward is entirely your own contribution. Let's break it down with numbers. Imagine someone earning a modest paycheck and saving $400 each month. Over 10 years, that adds up to $48,000. Not bad. But when you consider retirement is 30 or 40 years away, it feels almost inconsequential. Compared to the conventional story of save slowly until you're 65, it seems insignificant. That sense of futility is exactly what drives people to quit, even though they are closer than they realize to the turning point where compounding begins to take over. Picture the snowball analogy, pushing a heavy ball uphill. Each step demands sweat, focus, and persistence. Early growth looks tiny, barely noticeable. Add in the distractions of daily life. Friends spending freely, family questioning your sacrifices, markets rising and falling. The frustration multiplies. In the early years, market volatility works against you, and that's precisely why patience matters. The system isn't broken. It's simply laying the groundwork for exponential growth to come. Take Sarah's story as an example. At 28, she decided she wanted to leave her corporate job by age 40. She committed to saving $500 a month. For 3 years, she stayed disciplined, avoiding dinners out, driving a 10-year-old car, taking freelance work on the side. After all that effort, she had accumulated just under $20,000. To her, it felt like sacrificing for years with almost no payoff. Everyone around her seemed to be enjoying life, while she remained focused on a balance that looked trivial. She nearly gave up. Here's the critical insight, that balance wasn't a failure. In fact, it was exactly what the system required. Those early years were foundational. The money Sarah saved was the seed that would allow compounding to begin. Her dollars were now strong enough to start earning their own dollars. And that is the moment that changes everything. When growth stops relying solely on you and starts to work autonomously. It's a fragile bridge most people never cross, because discouragement convinces them to quit precisely when they are about to reach exponential momentum. So, what is that tipping point, and how close are you to it? Understanding the stage is critical. Without this understanding, the early years appear empty and futile. With it, you see each dollar saved not as a struggle, but as a clock ticking toward financial freedom. Once you grasp how this clock works, what once seemed invisible becomes measurable and predictable. This is where the Rule of 72 comes in. A simple, yet powerful tool for estimating how long it takes your money to double. The formula is straightforward. Take 72 and divide it by your expected annual return. The result tells you the approximate number of years required for your money to double. For example, If your investments average a 10% annual return, 72 divided by 10 equals 7.2. That means, on average, your money doubles roughly every 7 years. Start with $50,000. In the first 7 years, it grows to $100,000. 7 years later, it reaches $200,000. Another 7 years, $400,000. Early on, each cycle feels slow, but the leaps grow larger. And compounding accelerates from tiny gains to substantial jumps. The rule of 72 is not a guarantee. It's a forecast tool. Markets fluctuate, but it gives you a reliable way to understand how time and returns interact. The real danger is waiting too long to start. Missing just one doubling cycle can delay your freedom significantly. For instance, missing one cycle could mean the difference between retiring at 45 and working until 60. Lost time compounds against you just as powerfully as invested money compounds for you. Now imagine stacking multiple cycles. Starting with $50,000 and completing 4 doubling cycles brings you to roughly $800,000. A fifth cycle pushes past $1 million. This demonstrates why starting early is crucial. Every additional cycle captured shortens your path to financial freedom by years. Pause for a moment and ask yourself, how many doubling cycles could you realistically fit into the next decade? That single mental calculation changes your perspective on time, money, and freedom. Consider Michael's story. In his 30s, he invested $60,000. 7 years later, he had $120,000. At first, the progress felt almost unreal because time crawled by slowly. But the next cycle doubled his balance again, from $120,000 to $240,000. Without working extra hours or saving more aggressively, the system itself began accelerating. That is the moment compounding transforms from frustrating to exhilarating. Thinking of the rule of 72 as your personal clock is transformative. Each doubling cycle is not just numbers increasing, it's years of labor converted into years of freedom. The ticks of this clock aren't hours at your desk. They are returns multiplying on themselves. Every completed cycle represents a portion of your working life you never have to give away. Once you understand this framework, early retirement stops feeling like a vague dream and becomes a tangible, measurable goal. But here's the caveat. Knowing the clock exists isn't enough. If your contributions are too small, the cycles won't carry you to freedom. That's where offense and defense come in. Offense is about increasing the amount of money flowing into your system. Defense is about preventing that money from leaking into lifestyle upgrades that slow progress. Together, they fuel the engine powering your wealth. Let's illustrate this with numbers. Imagine earning $4,000 per month and saving 10%, or $400. Over 10 years, this amounts to $48,000. With a 10% return, the account grows to roughly $77,000. Progress? Yes, but insufficient to reclaim decades of life. Now consider offense. Raising your income to $6,000 or $10,000 while maintaining the same savings rate dramatically changes the picture. Those same 10% contributions now flow in thousands instead of hundreds, multiplying your wealth exponentially. Defense is equally vital. The principle is simple. When your income grows, your lifestyle remains constant. Live on the same $3,600 monthly budget, even if your paycheck rises to $6,000. The gap becomes pure investment fuel. Compare two individuals. One earns $4,000, saves 10%, and grows to $77,000 in 10 years. The other earns $10,000 but maintains a $3,600 lifestyle, investing the rest. In 10 years, their account reaches roughly $193,000, over twice as much simply by combining offense with defense. To implement this, try a practical experiment for the next 12 months. Every time you get a raise, bonus, or extra income stream, directly invest it. Don't let it hit your spending account. Treat each new dollar like a worker joining your financial team. If absorbed into lifestyle, it disappears. If assigned to investments, it never sleeps, never quits, and never stops compounding. The next step is structuring your contributions into a system that continues working even when you don't. That's where the 3-layer model comes in. Growth assets, income producers, and stability assets. Each layer plays a unique role in creating a durable, long-term money machine. Growth assets act as the engine. These include broad index funds, growth stocks, and selected dividend-paying equities. They push your money beyond inflation and steadily build wealth over time. Without them, your savings risk losing purchasing power. Income-producing assets provide steady cash flow, such as dividend stocks, REITs, or rental properties. Even when markets fluctuate, they generate income to sustain your lifestyle or reinvest for further growth. Stability assets act as the shock absorbers. Treasury bonds, high-yield savings accounts, and small allocations to gold. They protect your system during downturns and prevent the need to sell valuable assets at the worst time. A small, often overlooked addition is currency diversification. Relying solely on one economy or currency exposes you to hidden risks. Allocating a fraction of assets internationally or in stronger currencies like the euro or Swiss franc adds resilience. It's not about chasing higher returns. It's about protecting years of progress. Together, these three layers form a balanced, self-sustaining system. Growth is the engine, income is fuel, and stability is the brakes. Remove one, and the machine falters. Keep all three, and it continues compounding through market ups and downs. One final principle. Even after achieving financial independence, reinvest at least 10–20% of passive income. This ensures your portfolio continues to outpace inflation and extend the life of your wealth. The challenge isn't understanding the framework. It's sticking with it long enough for the results to appear. The hardest part is resisting the urge to interrupt the process before reaching the tipping point where compounding accelerates. So what does this mean for you right now? 3 actionable steps. 1. Start immediately to capture as many doubling cycles as possible. 2. Grow your income while maintaining lifestyle discipline to maximize contribution fuel. 3. Build a 3-layer portfolio: growth, income, stability, and reinvest part of the passive income it generates. Every dollar you invest today is a silent worker that never clocks out. Calculate your monthly investable amount and commit to a 12-month experiment. Put every bonus, raise, or side income directly into investments. This single action sets the foundation for decades of compounding and financial freedom. If this resonates, take one small step today. Leave a comment with your monthly investable amount or target retirement year, and commit to the first cycle of your money machine. Each step you take now shortens the path to freedom, turning what feels impossible into a clear, measurable, achievable plan.